let's say, if it's the Volkswagens or the Walmarts or the Targets of the world, who have huge employee base, and their bottom line or top line, whatever we may pick, depends upon these frontline workers or these frontline staffs who are dealing with their customers day in, day out. And there has been the traditional learning and development divisions in these kind of organizations who try to, fill in the skill gaps, get them trained, or, get them done things. But lately, we have been seeing a little bit of shift, and that's my observation, but I would like to get your expert opinion on it. For example, Walmart still will continue to invest in their internal L&D department. They'll put aside a budget for their internal L&D. However, at the same time, they acknowledge the fact that just alone the L&D cannot solve this entire, maze of challenge for them. So they want external help. So that's why they're sending their 10,000, 20,000, or 50,000 employees through Guild Education or someone else, or like a Penn Foster, and go and do this education, which Walmart will pay the cost, because eventually this is an investment for Walmart in their business, and they are going to get, the economics will play out for when these employees are better trained and come out of it. So is this fair to say, and is this not going only to be with, one or two major players like Walmart's or, some of these other players, but is this going to become more of a reality, more of a need? And does L&D has a challenge from these outside providers or outside players? I hope that's not kind of I have not kind of stirred the can of worms by asking that question, but yeah, please go ahead, Saar. Go ahead with your thoughts.
It feels like this is a setup question. It isn't. We haven't discussed. It's a setup question for me to give an advertisement and a commercial for Exec Online, which again, one of our investments, but it isn't. I think that Guild and Ben Foster are doing great work. I think Exec Online is doing great work. It's literally the reason why they exist, right? It's leadership and development within big organization, has been done in a traditional way by bringing people into a classroom, showing them a presentation, hoping that they retain something, and sending them back to the front line to lead and develop other people. That doesn't work. We know that it doesn't work, because we have tests that show us that even the most simple things, that legislative things about sexual harassment or security and safety in the workplace, is not being absorbed by the employees. So again, the need is obvious. I think at some point, I think you mentioned at the beginning that there are 7 million unfulfilled jobs. You can fulfill them by bringing people from the outside, or you can teach your frontline employees to fulfill those more complicated jobs that you need. And within that, give them an ability to improve and to move forward in their job and have a lifelong commitment to your company and from your company to them. Amazon is doing some good stuff on that front. Walmart is doing some good stuff on that. McDonald's, which is really an entry-level position, has been doing a good job on that front for many, many years, not by teaching people internally, but by paying a little bit to help them to go to university. So I think companies like Exec Online, which are so socially motivated to do the right thing, so do well while doing good and do good while doing well, there's going to be a lot more of those companies. I think the need is unbelievable, right? And anybody who started a new job and try to absorb what it is that they need to do that job, and then to move forward in that job and try to get the learning within their company knows, oh my God, there can be a better solution for this. And it shouldn't involve sending your employees somewhere else. They should be able to do it from their home, from their office, and they should be using an OPM-like solution to do that.
That's wonderful, Saar. So I think someone like an internal L&D and someone like an Exec Online, they'll complement each other, because the internal L&D will have to be there. But I think it's what we heard is if everything was getting solved, or all the challenges were getting solved, then companies like Exec Online or Penn Foster might not be required, or not exist. So we heard you. I think that's a very important aspect. And things like this, like leadership development, or the soft skills. There's been so much talk about in the coming the future workforce or the future workplace. The technical skills, of course, they are required, but there's so much more demand for these soft skills. Leadership is one huge, big gap area where companies are struggling to get their next line of leaders established. Michael, would you disagree, agree, or?
Listen, I agree. I think, these organizations with their internal L&Ds have tremendous impact to, keeping their existing employees happy, but also keeping the employees, right? I mean, it comes back to, that intersection of that economics where economics meet academics, right? If you can keep these employees for a little bit longer, or perhaps ongoing, it's less of an economic impact to the company. I state, for example, as Saar did earlier with McDonald's, Starbucks. My day doesn't start off without a Starbucks. And as I go to these Starbucks, wherever I am throughout the world, I always talk with them and inquire, what's the number one reason why you stay there? This is the barista or anybody behind the counter. And they tell me it's not so much the pay as it is the programs that are available from Starbucks to their employees to improve themselves in any variety of capacities. And so I think that in that perspective, I'm an advocate for it. I definitely see there's a need for it. And if you're looking at employees where they're jumping from job to job just to make an additional $1 to $2 an hour extra, a nominal investment on behalf of these organizations is going to keep that individual for much longer.